Hi everybody, Mr. Piercy here, and what we're going to be looking at in this lesson is some more shortcuts to prove whether triangles are congruent to each other or not. So here I have a triangle ABC, and what I'm going to use is I'm going to try to use an angle, a side, and an angle where the side is included in between the two angles to prove whether the triangles are going to be congruent to each other. And I'm going to try to use an angle, and a side that's not included in between the two angles, or in between the two angles to show whether the triangles are congruent to each other. So with our constructions, again, we're going to need a straight edge, a compass, and, well, let's go ahead and see what we get. So I have two questions here. I have if triangle, I guess I should have a question mark here. If angle X is congruent to angle Y, and XY is congruent to AB, and angle Y is congruent to angle B, will this triangle XYZ be congruent to the triangle ABC? So let's see. We'll begin by constructing a segment. I'm just drawing a line to see, not measuring it in a particular way. And with my compass, I'm going to measure the length of AB, because we always have to have some kind of a side to be able to draw an angle anyway. So here is AB. Now, let's look at this one here. We have an angle, we have a side, and we have an angle. And looking at the points that we've started with, angle A and angle B will segment AB is in between it. So that looks like we're going to be looking at angle, side, angle here. So that means I'm going to copy angle AB, and, well, let's call this, instead of AB, we're calling it XY. Is this triangle going to be congruent to the other triangle? So X, Y. So let's go ahead and copy the angles. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'll just use the same radius here. Do that. And I need to turn my paper some so I can get that one. Almost. Alright. Oops, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we want to copy the angle, so I'm going to do that here at point X, and do that there at point Y. So we're copying angle X and Y to be congruent to angle A and B. So I got that one there. Here we go. And looking for angle A, we got that point right there. So with my straight edge, so we copied angle X to be congruent to angle A, and we copied angle Y to be congruent to angle B. So this is where point Z would be on the triangle. So now I'm going to use a piece of patty paper to compare the segments and the angles. So here, just copy the three sides of the triangle. Oop. And so now if I take triangle ABC and I bring it down here to compare it to triangle XYZ, it does appear that those triangles are congruent to each other. So angle, side, angle does appear to produce congruent triangles. So that's awesome. So we got one more triangle shortcut that we can use. What about angle, angle, side? So looking here, I'm saying if angle M is congruent to angle B, angle O is congruent to angle C, and LM is congruent to AB, I know it's hard to see there, will this triangle LMO be congruent to this triangle ABC? Well, in this case, the side that we're using is not going to be in between the two angles that we have, because if we can compare the order of the pairs here, or the points, segment LO or LM is not it's not in between where the two angles that we have here. We have angle B and we have angle C, and segment AB is definitely not in between them. So let's see how this one goes. Alright, so let's start off with a line segment again. Alright, and again, I'm not measuring anything. Now we are using segment AB, so I am going to go ahead and copy segment AB again. So in this case, AB and LM are the same, so I'm going to say this is L and this is M. Now we're comparing B and M together. So angle M and angle B are the same, so again I'm going to copy angle B. And I'm going to use that same radius here on, oh, maybe not. That looks too close. Okay, so B and M are the same, so let's go ahead and just copy angle B. Alright. And now let's pick a new radius for angle C. I think somewhere there is okay. Oh, my compass moved. There we go. So measuring the distances here, I got to give myself something to draw angle C against. So let me draw this segment in. Now I don't know how long it needs to be. Hopefully it's only about that long or that long. But I don't know how long to draw it. So somewhere I have to copy angle C now. Alright. So I'm going to just guesstimate. I'm going to guess about right here. Well, let me put a point and say I'm just guesstimating right now. So let's copy angle C. So there's the radius, and here are some points that we can use. There we go. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the dots and say, oh, well, we're clearly not hitting point L. So this point here where I'm anticipating point O to B, I missed a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to measure the distance from that line that I did to point L. And I don't know if you can see it on the video very well, but I'm measuring about 1.4 centimeters. So I'm going to go to here to point O. I'm going to move down about 1.4 centimeters or so. And I'm going to try copying the angle one more time. Alright, so now here this O didn't work out, so let's put point O here. So now copy that, get this width here. Oh, not quite. That looks good. Oh, oops, wrong point. Right here, that's where I want to do it from. And so now when I line those up, well, those look pretty good match to me. So now here's the litmus test. So we know we've just traced triangle ABC here. So when I used a side, an angle, and an angle where the side's not in between the two angles, were we able to construct congruent triangles? And it certainly appears that triangle LMO is congruent to triangle ABC. So this is going to be another valid way, even though side angle, an angle that's not included between the sides, that didn't work. Angle side and side angle, those both are going to work to show when triangles are congruent to each other. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video again just as a demonstration as why it works, and not just saying here it is, just trust me because I'm the teacher, believe me. I want you to see the why behind the things that we're doing. So that's how we can construct triangles to justify, yes, these particular parts, corresponding figures from one to another, will produce congruent triangles. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.